Hello, my name is Brendan, and together with my wife Hannah Lapp, former local, now back to being a local, we opened Nostalgica Coffee in downtown Lancaster. It's in the old Hingework building at 308 West Grand Street. And yeah, the reason we opened it, obviously we're really big into coffee and we love coffee. In the future, we hope to start going to Origin, meeting the farmers and building direct relationships with them and just fully immersing ourselves in that. But on the practical side, just from hearing like friends talking to us and just colleagues, whoever, I think people just want to brew better coffee. That's just what we're hearing. And as a roaster, we want to do a much better job of not only selling you a bag of coffee, but then giving you the knowledge and we say recipes to help you brew it. Because I've been on the consumer side where you buy a fairly expensive bag of coffee and you burn through half of it before you even get it to taste like it should. So that's something that we are going to put a lot of effort into, and it's a big challenge that we are going to embrace. In terms of our roasting philosophy, we're going to be roasting fairly light and bright, which is where the specialty coffee industry is right now. And the reason we want to do that is coffee is the most complex thing on the earth. To give you a comparison, wine is considered very complex, right? But it only has 250 tasting notes, according to Google. Coffee has up to 800. So the amount of different notes that you can find in coffee is incredible. And so if we cover those up by roasting too long, we're just going to sort of smother them. So we want to roast a little lighter to highlight the God-given notes in the coffee bean. Now I have a funny analogy, and maybe it's just me, but I think that most people's coffee habits are similar to their food habits. And what I mean by that is during the week, people want a really good cup of coffee, but it doesn't break the bank. It's maybe not the craziest or wildest coffee they've had, but it's just solid. We want to always have those types of coffee on our menu that are affordable, but also really solid. In addition to that, just like people's food habits, maybe it's the weekend, or maybe you're hosting, or maybe it's a special occasion and you want something a little more special. We also want to carry those types of coffees that are like really fruit forward and funky and sort of break the stereotypes of coffee. Of course, those are really exciting and fun coffees to have, but not everyone can afford those all the time. So we want to have both. And we will also offer some medium roast coffees, maybe even some dark roast coffees, depending on the feedback we get. Because we really don't want to be exclusive. Coffee is a personal thing. We think that everyone though wants their coffee to maybe just be a little bit better than it is. So we want to help everyone get there and offer coffees for everyone. In terms of how we will accomplish this, we have purchased some very state-of-the-art machinery to give us data and feedback as to how consistent are we being. We want to be able to measure everything. So we bought an espresso machine that has flow profiling, and it's really the only espresso machine out there that where you can manipulate the coffee. The roaster that we purchased, the Stronghold S9X, there are less than 10 of them in the US. I just found that out, fun fact, through our rep. And it's so cool. It has a ton of data so that we can actually replicate the roast. So when we find the profile that makes the coffee taste the best, we can essentially just hit repeat and it'll do the same thing. And that is very uncommon right now and hard to find in a coffee roaster. So things like that are ways that we hope to build consistency and trust with the customer that we are testing our coffees consistently and brewing them how you will brew them on some of the same equipment you'll brew them with at home. And that way there's a very close relationship between what we're doing here and what you guys are doing in your kitchen. You're probably wondering, how can I purchase coffee? Are you guys a cafe? We are open 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 11 a.m. Now bear in mind, we are more of a lab. We're definitely not a cafe. We have equipment to make the highest end coffee that we can, but it's not necessarily set up for speed. So just don't come if you're in a rush, because I wouldn't want to make you late. But yes, 8 to 11, Tuesday and Thursday. You can also go on our website